Let's turn to NASA's Artemis spacecraft next. It has finally arrived at the moon, sweeping 130 kilometres above the lunar surface. And the spacecraft also sent back an image of the Earth. NASA says so far the mission has exceeded expectations since last week's launch. Here's our science editor, Rebecca Morell, with more.
Closing in on the moon as NASA's spacecraft nears its target. It's the moment they've been waiting for. These images were taken as the spacecraft made a close flyby, sweeping above the lunar surface on the far side of the moon, revealing the barren, dusty landscape and flying over some of the Apollo landing sites on its way.
This is one of those days that you've been thinking about and dreaming about for a long, long time. We just saw the Earth set behind the moon as we take the next human-rated vehicle around the moon, preparing to bring humans back there within a few years. This is a game changer.
3, 2, 1, and liftoff of Artemis 1.
The mission began last Wednesday, blasting off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, sending a spacecraft to the moon. It's taken some selfies along the way before reaching its destination. First, the spacecraft flies in close, just 130 kilometres, that's 80 miles above the lunar surface. Then it enters a much larger orbit, swinging more than 65,000 kilometres, about 40,000 miles beyond the moon. That's further than any spacecraft built for humans has ever flown. During the several weeks Orion is in orbit, NASA will collect important data and check how the spacecraft is performing. This is a test flight, so there are no people on board. Instead, there are mannequins covered in thousands of sensors collecting important data.
Most of those sensors are getting an idea of whether this environment is going to be okay for people. So things like radiation sensors, motion sensors, accelerometers, things like that. Things that we as human payloads are going to care a lot about.
And this is vital, because if this mission is a success, astronauts will join the next ride, taking in these views for themselves, like this one, with the Earth as a pale blue dot. But there's some way to go yet, and NASA will be assessing every stage of the spacecraft's journey before it returns home with a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean on the 11th of December. Rebecca Morell, BBC News.